Flying Arrow by Naseem Achakzai. Just like a black or white board, the blue sky also becomes a blue board for the white and black patches of clouds. These black and white pieces of clouds mostly turn and act to be like words or signs on the surface of this blue board called the sky. The old sky was quite clear. It was a bright, lovely day. Suddenly an arrow appeared in the middle of the sky. That was a flock of cranes. They were all nice birds. They would fly from the north to the south, from the south to the west. Now they were flying from the north to the south. These cranes would always fly in a line. That line was the symbol of discipline and unity. They always maintained their line like a ruler of measurement. They did not break that line like a rule. No one would ever dare to cross their numbers. They were always in a sequence of given position. Each crane had its given and gifted place in that line. This order and line put these long-legged birds in shape of an arrow. That was a flying arrow in the middle of the sky. Sometimes this unity would become like a flying geometrical sketch in the vastness of the blue sky. The leader of these cranes was called the Eye. This great Eye would always lead his flock confidently. This leader, the Eye, was physically powerful. He also knew the course of the journey in great sky. They knew how to follow their course of journey in darkened nights. The forceful one in this flock remained the first to keep all cranes in one line and order, to give them an opportunity of an easy flight without any problem. An easy flight requires control and skill. During the journey, they would always get a rest on an oasis. That was the spot for rest. Their rest and its place would always occur in the mid of a great Sahara. After a few hours regular flight, they had all become tired. They all had spent a lot of time flying in the vastness of the mid-air. The Eye saw the oasis. The Eye knew that they all needed a rest now. It slowed down its speed and flight. It had a soft and relaxed breath to come down to land on the surface of the oasis. When its feet touched the ground, the Eye became relaxed to end the journey of the day being responsible. They all landed well. The Eye had completed half of its journey. All of them ran to the course of the water. Some of them flew and dived directly into the water. Those who were friends would splash up water on one another. That was like a game. All of them enjoyed it. Their wings and bodies were dipped in fresh water. The freshness of the water gave them strength. They were going to prepare themselves for the next day's journey. Night fell down. Darkness ruled everywhere. Darkness rules when light vanishes. I wish I had wings. The Eye heard a voice. That voice frightened him. The Eye knew that there was no one there except them, and his flock were asleep. They were all taking rest, but this voice was not the voice of a crane. It was the sound of another being. Even there were no animals. There were no insects in that oasis. There was either pure water or was only the silence and purity of the desert. There had been nothing else. It was Eye's experience that nothing else existed there, because the Eye had landed here on this oasis many times. He knew the area very well. It was not his first time. It was too strange to hear an unknown voice. "Who's that? Who's that?" asked the Eye. "It's me, the desert," answered the desert after a deep sigh. "Oh my goodness, I've heard you first time in my life. You have got such a nice voice. But we were told in our folk stories that deserts never speak. They always remain silent. It is one of your qualities to observe silence. We believed it. But the case is rather different here. I heard your voice. Wow, you can really speak well, said the eye. Well, my dear, each situation has its touchable reality, and each reality has its perfect ground. Each ground makes its molded figure, answered the desert. But why do you wish to have wings? You know well that you cannot have, inquired the eye. I need freedom, answered the desert simply. Freedom? Come on. We always thought that you deserts are the only one that got freedom and vastness. Aren't you free? Asked the eye surprisingly. Each vastness has its boundary of limitations, replied the desert. Have you got limitations? Asked the eye again. Indeed I have, replied the desert. What kind of imitation is that? Asked the eye. I am chained, answered the desert. Chained? Come on, don't cut jokes. The eye was surprised to hear desert's words. Yes, I am chained in the chains of my own measurement. You did not ever look at my figure. My figure has its well-measured distance, and the distance of each mile is the chain of my imprisonment. I am chained in thousands of miles, said the desert. Oh my goodness, I didn't know it, replied the eye, understanding desert's problem. The eye and the desert both enjoyed silence for a long time. Night had completed its journey. Early in the morning, all cranes flew one by one away, following the eye. The desert became alone again. Silence was the only companion the desert had. But there moved a sign of life on the surface of the desert again. Everything has its well-planned shape. Each sign has its sketched-out group. The desert saw that the soft pieces of white feathers blew away everywhere where the cranes had left them. Wow! It's beautiful. Excellent. It's wonderful. The desert could not stop appreciating that scene. Each crane had left 2 or 3 pieces of their soft feathers as a gift for the desert. The desert forgot about its imprisonment for a moment. That one moment was the moment of freedom. This freedom shared the sense of wonder and involvement. This involvement for a moment was giving a complete sensation of freedom to the desert. That feeling of freedom was an everlasting gift for the desert. It enjoyed forever and ever.